So hi guys, welcome to our forgiveness online course. We are on the next lesson for forgiveness. Today we'll be talking about the components of unforgiveness. What are the components of unforgiveness? Bakit po tayo nahihirapang mag-forgive? Right? So what we are using the concepts from Everett Worthington for this topic. So Everett Worthington is Christian psychologist, and his expertise is on forgiveness and humility. So if you want to learn more about this, check his books. It's really amazing. It's very insightful. It is also science-based, research-based books. So Everett Worthington has a concept of injustice gap. This is an ongoing mental computation of the distance between injustice done to us and subsequent event after the transgression. So this is the transgression. This is justice, and the injustice gap is the distance between justice and the injustice. So it's the distance between this thing. This affects the forgiveness, right? So justice means justice means that the wife say sorry to the husband, but the wife is not talking to the husband. The wife is shouting at the husband, right? And for a few weeks, it's still not happening. The apology is still not happening. So the injustice gap would be further. So the longer the injustice gap is, the harder it is to forgive because the damage in the bond is getting bigger, right? So it will take a lot more effort um, for this bond to be reconciled. So you can also see in the book, that's why in the Bible, don't let the sun go down without apologizing. Actually, all the stuff, mental health, amazing tips, it's already in the Bible. Psychology is just discovering it now, but the practical steps for mental health is already there. So there. Also with offenses, the Bible is encouraging us to settle our offenses as early as possible. It also has rules on how to settle offenses, right? Like talk to your brother in secret, talk to your brother, a one-on-one talk, and then get another witness there. So that's the injustice gap. That's the gap between justice, the concept of justice of the victim, and the actual reality of what's happening. The more the injustice gap, the harder it is to forgive. Also, we have the cognitive control or the um, retaliatory impulses of the person. So, for example, um, there had been an offense. The husband is angry with the wife, um, but instead of the husband cannot control his mouth. He cursed the wife. He hit the wife. Right. He um he pushed the wife, and that made the wife injured. He pushed the wife and made the wife injured. So that will really offend also the wife, right? Um, so cognitive control on both sides. So if with that situation, since the husband wasn't able to control the self and he created damage also with the wife, then the possibility of forgiveness here would be further or would be harder because of the lack of self-control. If he should have quieted himself and talked about it, have more self-control, then maybe the reconciliation is easier, right? That's one another concept for unforgiveness, why forgiving others is hard. Perspective taking, the ability of the husband to look at the situation of the wife. This is what we're talking about, emotional flexibility. If you have the ability to sit in the shoes of the other person, if you have the ability to empathize with the other person. So why did my wife offend me? What's happening? Maybe she's having her cramps, maybe she's having her monthly stuff, or her monthly period, maybe she has hard time in the office. Why is she doing this? Why is she hurting me? Right? So perspective taking, your ability to empathize will affect the forgiveness and reconciliation. Social valuation. If the offender, if the husband was offended by maybe the someone he looks up to, like his boss, or someone, or a celebrity that he looks up to, then it's easier to forgive than when the husband is offended by someone that he hates, right? Someone that is not socially valued as good, as worthy, right? So the value of the person will also affect. We also have the personality trait. If the person is negative, so it's hard to forgive. It's hard to receive forgiveness as well. So relationship quality and transgression. This is the severity of the betray or severity betrayal that predicts whether the unforgiveness ensues. So, what is the characteristic? What is the description of the offense, right? And the quality of relationship. This will affect unforgiveness. So again, why is it hard to forgive? First is because of the intentionality. So if the person is really, um, you know, have evil intent, have is known to have to really wanted to inflict harm, right? It's kind of hard to forgive than when the person who offended you didn't mean it. It was an accident. It he The intention is not to harm you. It's just neglect or something. So intentionality is something that would affect the forgiveness process. Severity, how much is the damage that was caused? So that will also affect your forgiveness, and also the frequency. How often is he doing this? Is he apologizing but then repeats it again? Right? So again, it's in the Bible. Na po, we have when we say sorry, we repent, we turn away from the sin, right? So same with forgiveness. When we say sorry, it has to be sincere, and we don't want to repeat it again, or else we're not really sorry, right? Or maybe we have chronic addiction or mental health mental health issues on that, right? That we'll have to consult a professional. Right. So that's it for this lesson. I'll see you in the next.